Yo, welcome everybody to TCR, Trinity Competitive Racing, and welcome to another episode of the Racing Debrief, TCR's podcast where we combine the world of e-racing, sim racing, and TCR with real-life motorsports and Formula One. A true racing enthusiast listen. I'm your host, C. Freeze, and in this episode we'll be talking a little bit about my first karting experience in a league setting. I started a few weeks back, and I wanted to kind of document that series that I've been doing. I've kind of been encouraged to join a karting league thanks to my co-host Camden Luca, who will be joining us on some of these newer episodes here shortly. He has a karting league, and he features some videos on his own personal channel, and it kind of drew some inspiration for myself to do the same thing. So I joined a league, my first karting league experience. Now, I've gone karting before, and, I guess more of a casual setting, although just that's pretty much to the extent of which I had was casual karting experience. So honestly, that hasn't really been so recent. Like, I've only karted in real life for maybe the last 2 years or so. I mean, I haven't done much in real life. Most of the majority of my racing is on sim racing, back probably from 2015, 2016. So a large majority of my experience has come from that. And I think that a lot of it has translated over quite quickly into karting. So this league is run at the RPM Raceway on the Long Island location. And I know there's some other TCR drivers in the tri-state area. There's a few RPM raceways throughout, but this spring league, I guess, is the second season that they've been doing. They had a lot of big updates to their location, and that's kind of why I kind of was tempted to join, because you're getting a lot for what you're paying for. They did a lot of renovations to the track. Now there's multiple tracks, different layouts, and apparently it's the world's longest indoor multi-level go-kart track that they have now created. So, that really enticed me to go and to do the karting league. It kind of worked out pretty well with the timing of my schedule and me being able to do it. They've been running at Tuesdays at 7 o'clock. So obviously the TCR season was pretty much over when I started that. So this is now my third week. I completed 3 races. I believe there is 5 more to go. I think it's a 8-round season. Generally, I think it's a little longer, but due to the construction, I think they extended the season a little later, so we only got 8 in. But I'm pretty sure every week is going to be a different track, because that's how many different track layouts they have, as well as the reverse layout. So, and that's including those. So, you'll have the tracks you go, I guess, clockwise in, and then the counterclockwise. And I'll tell you what, the first week I was a little intimidated, because I was coming in thinking, oh man, maybe a lot of these guys are actual karters, or, they race in real life. I didn't know, if they were going to be younger, closer to my age, or a lot older. So the first week, honestly, I didn't do much sim racing, even around the time that I started. I mean, pretty much this whole year, I haven't really done much karting or sim racing, so I should have been a little bit more prepared, probably. But I was kind of going into that first week, it being a preseason, but we ended up counting that week anyway, which was fine. I don't mind either way. I don't really remember where I finished, but my results were decent given. But I like the league format. It's pretty cool. I have a 8-minute qualifier, which will set the grid for the first heat race. And then there's points for the heat race, where it's a 10-minute race, and it is 1 pit stop, which is 15 seconds. You pretty much just pull down pit lane and stop, and, the steward or marshal will count you down from 5. And then when you're done, you can rejoin the track, and, pretty much that's your pit stop done. So, that's the first heat race. Points are given out. And then from there, it's reverse grid order for heat 2. And I think they do that off of like your best average lap time from heat 1. So it's not position based. I'm still like not honestly entirely sure how that works, but it is what it is. And then that sets it for Heat 2, which is another 10-minute race, 1 15-second pit stop, and then the best average lap time, I think it is, from Heat 1 and Heat 2 will set you up for the main event race, which will be the feature, which is 15 minutes. And now this time you have 2 pit stops of 15 seconds, so a little bit more strategy in play. And I like that they do these pit stops because it gives you the chance to overtake off track, and I think putting the pit stops in is a great idea because it allows strategy. And that's, when we do it on F1 here in our league in TCR, strategy is a big part of league racing, right? You can't just be overtaking on track or qualify real good. And I think this kind of incorporates everything. It allows you to do qualifying. It allows you to overtake on track. It allows you to do pit stops, work with overcuts, undercuts, as well as the other big thing is your average best lap time throughout the race. So, you want that to be good, right? You want to be consistent over the 10 minutes, but then even more so in the 15, and then you got 2 pit stops, right? So, there's a little bit more strategy to play, which I've found to be really good. And, some tracks are better to overtake on others so far. I've done 3, but, I think it's a pretty cool league format. And then the main event, I think there's real F1 points given out for the top 10. So 25, 18, 15 down from there. F1 point style. Whereas the main events, I think it might be 10 points, 9, 8, 7, all the way down to, the top 10. But it's a pretty cool format. So the first week I did all right. I actually hit the wall at one section. It was a cool snail downhill section. It kind of reminded me of like a China, but the other way. So instead of, or maybe it is the right way. I'm trying to think of how the track was. But it kind of reminded me of like a China going downhill into turn 2. So like turn 1, turn 2 section. And it was quite fun, but the back end of my kart, I kind of lost the back end and I kind of hit the, well, I didn't I definitely hit the wall and I was stuck on the wall, and I forget who, but another driver came by and he said, press the green button. I guess that's the reverse. So I didn't even know what buttons, or even honestly, I didn't even know how to turn the kart on. I still had the marshals doing it for me. Because, in F1, they start our engines for us, right? And the game, and also in real life. So I guess I have that mentality. Start my own, I don't want to start my own car. I'd rather them start it. Start my damn engine. But now I know how to, it's not that complicated. But I guess when it's your first time, there's a lot of things to learn. But it's nice. We also get to do a little track walk at the beginning. So I think I missed last week's. I was a little late. But we're able to walk onto the track and learn it because every week that we're going, it's a new track because they're still constructing some areas and testing some bits, or reintroducing for the debuting these tracks as time allows. And I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, the first week went by. I thought I'll come back for round 2, which was definitely a lot smoother. The first week was quite long because we had our orientation, a lot of rules to go over, and, it was a long night. But round 2 and 3 was pretty quick. We got to it pretty much right away, and I thought that it was handled pretty well. And honestly, the whole league and the drivers are quite clean. Nice to talk to, and, it's nice to, spend a night out and do some league racing with some other people that are interested and passionate about it. So it was very familiar to me, based off of TCR and our community here. So I was really happy to do it. Week 2, that track I really liked. It was short. So the first round was maybe a 46-second lap, give or take. 45, give or take, if my memory serves me correct. Round 2 was more in the 20s. I believe it was 24 seconds, give or take, maybe a little longer. Or a little shorter. I can't remember. And then round 3, we just did, I think I got down to a 56 seconds. So it was the longest one that I've done. But round 2, the 20-second or so lap time, a lot shorter, a lot quicker, a little bit more elevation, a few overtaking spots, but I don't know, it was quite cool. It was a high momentum speed track. Kind of reminded me of Brazil for some reason in Interlagos, so I just really gelled with it. And I think every heat I got a podium. I think it was second, third, and then I won the main race at the end. When I did that and I looked at the times, I was like, oh, okay. Now this is a proper week of me understanding the kart and the track and how we do it. I'm gonna fit in just right. And yeah, I had a lot. Thinking about recording it and doing a similar thing as Camden does on his channel, which I encourage you guys to go watch. He has his league up there. Maybe he can have an episode where he talks about his. That'd be pretty cool. So the challenge is out there, Camden. But yeah, I think it was quite good. But the second week, now that I do want to record it, because on the last main race of round 2, on the last lap of the main event race, I was running P2, and it was the guy in P1. I started on pole for this one. He, I guess, started P2, and quite early on in the race, he did a dive bomb, which I think was a little aggressive at that time. I don't know if there was contact, but, he got the position. He was leading from pretty much then on, probably lap 2, I would say, lap 1 or lap 2, and he was leading, and, I was kind of playing catch up because I lost some positions, but I was quicker, and I was, doing my 2 pit stops now, right, in the main event. We had to do the 2 pit stops, and I was, I guess, hitting traffic quite well and not getting held up. And at the end there, I was right on the back of the driver in front, and I could see a lot of the corners. He was looking back to me, and I thought, oh, all right. So now I got some speed on him, but I just got to think of where to overtake. And I think as drivers, we kind of keep that in the back of our mind of what happened earlier on in the race. So when I got overtaken then quite early and aggressively, I thought, all right, here's the time. So, I was basically right on his bumper for majority of the lap, but specifically on the penultimate lap. No, on the last lap. Well, penultimate and then also onto the last lap. And down pretty much into the last braking zone. My front of the kart was right on his rear. I think I was probably bumping him forward. And it was a hairpin left where you kind of had a brake. Let me see if I can remember a hairpin that it would be similar to in F1. Let's see. It's a left hairpin. Maybe something at like a Portugal, right? That turn 5. It's probably not the best example, but anyway, it's a hairpin left, and I just kind of sent it down the inside, and I saw the gap, and I was like, I'm not going to stay behind and just follow home. I said, all right, if he's going to get his elbows out on the earlier on in the race, I kind of remembered the same, and I said, all right, let me do it back. And better to do it on the last lap in the last corner where he can't really get a lick back. So, and it was a beautiful move. Now it was clean as anything. I guess we kind of joke about that move, but it definitely wasn't dirty by any means. It was a dive bomb. But I was right behind him. I was basically touching him at that point. Was I alongside? No, but in the braking, then I was, and the door was open, and I went forward and secured the win. And when I got that, I was like, oh, all right. Seafreeze is going to like this. Seafreeze is going to like this league. And it was a lot of fun. So, but all in all, it was pretty fun, and good respects to everyone racing. Because, we're all kind of learning. A lot of it, we might have some experience in karting or sim racing or racing or whatever, right? Or a fan of it, some knowledge, but more specifically, most of us are just kind of doing this for the first time. So, we're going to make mistakes. We're going to learn our limits. But you can't learn if you don't try it, right? So I think, yeah, it was a cool move. I wish I recorded it. So hopefully in the future races, when I do, I'll come up with other overtakes that'll make up for it. But I know in the memory bank, I'll always have that kind of in my memory, so that was good. And then then last week we did another one, which was kind of a combination of round 2 into round 3. What I mean by that is parts, for the most part, the entire round 2 track was incorporated into round 3. One corner kind of opened up a full leash of other corners, which brought us to the second and third level, and that's the longer lap version and very hard to overtake, but I did quite well throughout. I wasn't the quickest out of the gate. I mean, I will say I did miss track walk, so in quali, that's probably why I wasn't as quick, but I think I did kind of my best like I did the first 2 weeks of learning throughout the night, which I think every session I was always improving. So I think, as I know in TCR, a lot of us as drivers and league racers, we kind of always want to improve session after session, lap after lap. And I was quite happy the first 3 weeks I was able to do that. So whether it's results or lap time or self-confidence, as long as you're always improving something, it definitely translates to league racing and off and on track. Like, it all correlates for sure. There's a lot of techniques that translate over as well. So, I kind of encourage those who maybe have done league racing in TCR or other leagues, and you have a local go-karting track, or if you're specifically in the tri-state area, the RPM Raceway is really cool. If you're somewhat close to Long Island, come on out and race with me and some others, whether one-off or to the league. Would be pretty cool. But I recently bought a camera, so my idea is to see how I can mount it. I don't have my own helmet, so I'm probably not going to buy one just yet because it's only 5 weeks. So I did get the camera, so I think I might be recording next week and going forward. So I'll be posting that on my Seafreeze channel if I do obtain some footage for that. I gotta just look to see how I can mount it on easily, but I'd like to put on some race footage as well because the tracks are cool, and I think having some league races in karting would be pretty cool. And I don't know when they're going to do the other league again. It might be in the fall, and I'm not sure if I'll be able to do, another season. So I want to kind of capture some of the footage now because the track is new, and I'm pretty sure Ricky Stenhouse Jr., NASCAR driver, was at RPM Raceway on Long Island, and he, I don't know which track he was doing, but he did do some different lap times there, and I guess an event where he showcased some of the tracks, so I thought that was pretty cool. But all in all, it is a fun experience, and these, for those wondering, were electric karts. I think it's the Sodi karts, which are a lot of fun. So, all in all, pretty cool. I'll keep you guys updated on my league, but round 2, round 3, I had some back-to-back wins, right? So I'm feeling good. Maybe I'll make a return to season 20. Maybe not. But I want to thank everyone for watching and for tuning in. Don't forget to make sure to follow TCR on all socials and join the TCR Discord server, where we are the most active. And until next time, thank you for listening.